speakers, the Dean of Students, Jennifer Jones-Hall. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I feel like I need to come to Southern Illinois University now as a student after hearing from Mira. She truly is passionate about our experiences here. And so, first of all, thank you students for being here, as Mira said, so early and dressed up and looking wonderful. And thank you alumni for coming back to campus. We're excited to have you back, and then also to make sure that you're spreading the word that SIU Carbondale is a fantastic place for students to attend. I've been on campus for about a year and a half now as the Dean of Students, and I did come in eyes wide open knowing that the state of Illinois was in a downturn as far as finances, and that Southern was not making the best of publicity out there. But I did not come in with an interim title, so I am very happy to be Dean of Students. I've had the opportunity to supervise fraternity and sorority life literally for the last 6 months. So when I came in, my specialty is fraternity and sorority life. For 35 years of my career, all I've done is work with fraternities and sororities at many different institutions. Actually, when I was driving in this morning, I realized that the person who taught me about Greek life in my first professional position at the University of Central Missouri, my supervisor was an Alpha Gamma Rho from Iowa State University. I know we've already talked about Iowa State, but I'm very proud that what I've learned is from Alan Nordyke, who is still at the University of Central Missouri, but a very proud member of Alpha Gamma Rho. So that was my one thing. My second was I wanted to ask Timothy when I came in when you all were founded as a chapter here, because my father is a proud graduate from Southern Illinois and specifically from the College of Agricultural Sciences. And so he is a member of a fraternity, but he is not a member of Alpha Gamma Rho. So that's why I was like, when were you guys founded? 1970. Okay, my dad graduated in 1959, 60. I can't remember the exact year. So he literally loved his experience here in this college, went on to be very successful with the Upjohn Company out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, who was then bought by Pharmacia, and so on. And then my mom is a proud graduate of SIUC, and she is a proud member of Delta Zeta from this campus out of our College of Education and Human Services. This chapter on campus is got a niche, a really positive niche, for lack of a better word. Obviously, they're going to be getting men that are in your agricultural sciences area, but they've also been very successful with aviation, with automotive tech, and other majors. They have outstanding grades, but hopefully you know that. We faltered a little in the fall, but you know, if you can falter with a 3.1, I don't call that faltering at all. Last spring in 2018, they were #1 out of all fraternities with their grade point average. And this fall, 3rd place, but 3rd place is still absolutely fabulous. They do more service than any of our other fraternities and sororities on campus, and are always above the service hours compared to, again, all of our fraternities and sororities. And last year during our awards ceremony, our Fraternity and Sorority Life award ceremony, they won outstanding grade point average, so academic excellence. And they also won our outstanding chapter award, and then advisor of the year. Is Gary here? Yes, the big man.
Yes.
Right?
Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yes, but I love the fact that his email is the big man. So again, outstanding niche on this campus, one that I know that Alpha Gamma Rho will be here for a very long time. And it's also really great when the Dean of Students never has to bring in AGR into her office. I can tell you which ones I do see more often than not, and AGR is one that I have never had to call and never had to see. So please be proud of the undergraduate men that are truly carrying on the history of this great fraternity at Southern. I wanted to highlight just two different areas. The first is the North American Interfraternity Council, which AGR is a national member of the NIC, and our new alcohol policies that will go into effect for all of the national fraternities come September 1st. And then because the fraternities outnumber the sororities, we are going to adopt it as a university. And it's not gonna affect our women much because they can't drink in their houses, things like that. But the major change that's gonna come September 1st is they are really going to get rid of all hard alcohol within a fraternity function. So if AGR has a party on a Friday night and it's a social event with another sorority or a social event with another fraternity, they can have beer. That's what they can have, okay? We're getting rid of vodka, we're getting rid of gin, we're getting rid of whatever you drink these days, the Four Loko, I've heard, okay? We're getting rid of that. And the reason we're getting rid of that is on the national level, all of the national fraternities, 72 of them nationwide, came together and looked at what is killing men across the United States. And specifically, I will say men, because we have not had a woman killed from a hazing or alcohol incident nationally within fraternity and sorority life. Just within this last year, we've already had 10 students killed on college campuses, not here, but on college campuses because of hard liquor. So that's the #1 change that will take place September 1st. So as I always tell the students, beer bloats you, makes you have fun, but it does not kill you. All of those incidences, the students have been killed by hard liquor and or hazing, consuming too much of hard liquor during their pledgeship or their new member education. The second change I wanted to talk about specifically deals right here at Southern Illinois University. Before I came in and before I had the opportunity to supervise fraternity and sorority life, we have gone through some changes within the leadership. At a point, fraternity and sorority life was under the Dean of Students office, then it left and went under the Office of Student Engagement. We've had a number of staff go in and out of SIU. And now I luckily have hired Rachel Dunning as our fraternity and sorority life coordinator. She went to school here, so she gets it, she understands it, she loves it. She wants to stay here. Her family's in this region. She is coming to invest her time, energy, and desire to be here to work with our men and women on campus. And so it was the perfect time for her to start reporting to the Dean of Students. Before her, there was a plan set up at the university by past administrators that every semester we would bring a new fraternity on campus. With our decline in enrollment, it was not the best time and energy spent. So Rachel and I, in the fall, called the 7 fraternities that were about to arrive on our campus each semester and said, we need to call a timeout. We need to invest our time and energy to the men and women on our campus right now and make sure that they are successful and healthy and not bring on competing forces to make sure that other fraternities leave. So right now we currently have, this is where I gotta check myself. We currently have 15 fraternities on campus, which include our NIC, North American Interfraternity Conference fraternities. I would imagine by the fall of 2019, so at the end of this semester, we're gonna really come back with only 13. We've got 2 fraternities that are suffering in numbers, in academics. They have just not cut the mustard, for lack of a better word. So I would imagine we're going to right-size our community. We're gonna right-size our community to make sure that those fraternities that are here that want to be successful will be successful. On our women's side, apples and oranges as I always describe that, we have 3 National Panhellenic Conference sororities and 1 associate member, Sigma Alpha. We need to expand on our women's side. Our women are sitting at around 85 to 100 members, where our average fraternity size on campus is 40. So there is a big difference, and the women, while they love the intention from our men, they have a lot of socials because there's more fraternities than sororities. So I would imagine we will start looking in the fall of 2019 to increase our sorority size, meaning maybe bringing on another sorority to be competitive with the women on campus. One of the things that I also want to commend our men and the fact that it's just a great experience is that you truly are a chapter that is sustainable. You have a positive brotherhood. You are military friendly, which we all appreciate. And really, you're one of the only fraternities that's military friendly on campus. Not that they don't like military people, but you are willing to take a chance on students who are coming back to campus at maybe at a different age point, 21, 22, 23, 26. Zane, I don't know how old you are, but but we're excited that you are a member.
It's a bingo game.
And the other thing I really appreciate about Alpha Gamma Rho is, again, I don't get to see you for the negative reasons in my office. Risk management is very positive, recruitment's very positive, academics are excellent, community service is excellent. So, and you really, alumni, if you helped the undergraduate men, good for you, but if you did this on your own, AJ and Timothy, like Mira said, you wrote me an email at least a month ahead of time. You gave me a formal invitation. You better believe I'm gonna come to a campus on Saturday, dressed up, because you went that extra mile to make this special. So I'm gonna pause. That was a lot that I said, but see if there are any questions, because I know I brought up a couple of different things. But again, we're very excited that you all came back to campus, and men, I'm very excited that you are here also.
I'd just like to make a point. I'm the old guy here, but anyway, we actually started with LEAC as a colony of AGR in 1963. That's when we formed the colony.
So my dad still, because I was born in '63 and he had already graduated, so he still missed you. Okay.
We were on South Poplar, 506 South Poplar, and we're went on the road. So,
Okay,
like I
excellent.
say, I'm one of the originals.
Excellent. Well, welcome back. We're excited that you're back and here and still investing your time and energy. Yes?
Thank you for the accolades you're giving our college-age men here today, because I have some awareness about other AGR chapters who sometimes struggle to adhere to the rules, and we've got one in state here, a fellow AGR chapter that couldn't get along with the university, kind of had some probationary time, and now they are facing a temporary suspension of their chapter. And so the activities of these young guys really matter, because a lot of you are paying attention to them, and as long as we stay within the guardrails, we're good. But if we get outside of them, there are consequences.
And we really do try to provide those guardrails for our college students. When President Dorsey took over, if you know the history of President Dorsey here within the SIU system, he comes from the med school. So imagine your whole career being medical based. He had never worked on a college campus where there was fraternity and sorority life. So within the first week of President Dorsey, he called me and he was like, "Hi, I hear you're the person I need to talk to. I'm starting to stay up at night worrying about athletics and fraternity and sorority life. Can you sit down with me and explain what's going on at SIU Carbondale?" And we had an excellent talk because we've not had major risk management issues. So I told him he could stop losing sleep. I do that regularly. So anyways, it was that re-education of a president who came from a medical school background that has never worked. And he started to look nationwide, seeing some of the crises out there. So, but thank you, men. Listen to that. That's great. Guardrails, stay in them.
Can you talk a little bit about any plans or thoughts about organized or planned, I guess, university housing or some sort of planned housing for the fraternities and sororities?
So specifically about housing, if there is a planned space thought, when Carlo was chancellor, that was one of his investments besides the reorganization, was to look specifically at sorority housing. I'll be the first to tell you, because our sororities, not all of them have housing. And so he was really looking for that support with then the intent that it would be a Greek village. Now with a new chancellor, there hasn't been any thought pattern behind that. I think that we are always open if we have Greeks or organizations that are willing and wanting. We have space on campus. We know that it's a more vibrant campus if fraternities and sororities live on campus and are visible. We are open to it. I think we will have a little bit of pushback from some of our fraternities, not from our sororities. But you know, again, they love their house. Whether it's beautiful or not, they love their house. And so I would think probably as enrollment increases, as we right-size ourselves as a fraternity and sorority community, and as we get permanent placement in the president and chancellor, we will move forward with some plans. That was very vague. Yeah.
The university's policy on that has really fluctuated over the last 50 years.
For the positive or the negative?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, it does the big cycle like everything else.
It does do the big cycle like everything else, very much so. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question about the NIC alcohol policy, specifically to how SIU is going to adopt it. You mentioned that beer at socials and sponsored functions would be the only liquor or the only type of alcohol allowed. My understanding with the policy is it's anything under 15%.
It's actually 17%.
17%.
17,
So
15.
are we adopting the policy as a whole, or are we being more stringent and only allowing beers, or are you allowing things under 17%?
Yeah, so great question. So this is actually your, as a national organization, fraternities policy because you are a member of NIC. One of the things is if you go to a bar, like say Alpha Gamma Rho goes to Trax or goes to Hangar, those are the only two bars I know in town, so you rent those out, as long as you have a licensed bartender, you can have mixed drinks. So you can have a gin and tonic, you can have a whatever students drink these days.
Somebody policing the dram shop side of things.
Yes, but if you are in your facility, and actually hopefully I did write it down, the 15% alcohol by volume, you can have beer, you can have wine, you can have champagne, you can have malt beverages, cider, hard seltzer, pre-mixed items, liqueurs, and sake. So that's what we are really looking at. I know, sake. I like the liqueurs. If you go to liqueurs, please let me know. So we are really looking at adopting the NIC policy in the fall, September 1st, 2019. In your facility, those are the things you can have. If you go to a licensed bar with a licensed bartender, as long as you're purchasing alcohol, that's what will be acceptable.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, that definitely helped. I was just curious because
You were like, I'm not a beer drinker. What am I supposed to drink? Yeah.
I know our IFC constitutions say various different things and are more strict than NIC in some.
We're really not going to be more strict. We are really truly going to go with the NIC policy come September 1st. Why reinvent the wheel?
Exactly what mine.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for the invitation. Yes.
I know you give accolades to them from the university level, but I don't think we've done it from the college level. And I think Dean Midler also echoed this. We appreciate everything that you as members of AGR do for the college. We could not do events without you. You're pretty awesome cooks. And I'm really glad to see many of you involved with the RSO with the Smoking Dogs, because you did a fabulous job smoking that meat for New Student Barbecue. And we appreciate every time you step up to help us, because we could not be successful without you. And we appreciate you at the college as well. So thank you.
That's very true.